This man with wings is Hattus, the legendary king of the Underworld. Out of his own flesh and blood, he created a monstrous beast, Cracken the Siren. With Cracken's power, the gods overthrew Titan's rule and established a new order. Hades' brother Zeus became a god, and he was tricked by Zeus into ruling the dark underworld. Zeus created man, and by his prayers, the gods could live forever. As time went on, humans began to question God's rule, and they decided to revolt. The king took his army to Mount Olympus. Zeus, in order to punish the king, took the form of the king and quietly went to the king's room. The king was furious when he found out, and ordered the queen and Zeus' illegitimate son to be buried in a coffin. Zeus fell with a thunderbolt, and the king was transformed into a monster. He threw the coffin into the water in anger, and the king disappeared. Later, the coffin was picked up by a fisherman, and the queen inside was dead. But the baby, who had the blood of the god, survived. The fisherman named the baby Perseus and raised him. 20 years later, the fisherman was fishing with his family when they came to the beach near the statue of Zeus and found that someone was destroying the stone statue of Zeus. It turned out that the new king was also going to declare war on the gods. They pulled down the statue of Zeus, and suddenly the sky changed. A group of monsters burst out of the water and began to attack the soldiers on the shore. Eventually, the sea monsters gathered into a dark mass. Hades revealed himself and recognized Perseus' identity. He threw a fireball straight out and destroyed their fishing boat. Perseus and his family instantly sank to the bottom of the sea, but he survived because of his lineage to the gods. The soldiers found Perseus and brought him back to the king. At this time, the king was holding a celebration party, believing that it was finally time for men to rule the world. The next moment, a puff of black smoke appeared, and Hades descended upon the palace once more. When he came to the queen, he just touched her face, and she grew old in an instant. Hades then said that in 10 days, he would release Cracken. Unless the princess is sacrificed, the human world will be destroyed. When he left, he told Perseus that it was the order of his father, Zeus, and then disappeared. Perseus was treated as a monster and sent straight to prison. A mysterious woman appears before him and tells him that the witch has a way to deal with the sirens. Mankind can only place its hope in the demigod Perseus, so they set out to find the witch and find a solution. This is a man who even the gods are jealous, and he picks up a luminous sword handle at random and turns it into a divine sword. He walked a few more steps, and a horse came down from the sky, and a fairy followed. These were arranged for him by Zeus, but Perseus refused, wanting to use human power to defeat God. At this time, Hades also finds the old king and infuses him with divine powers. In exchange for the old king must kill Perseus. Hades had always held a grudge against Zeus, believing that he had deceived him by pretending to help Zeus. He wanted to exploit human fear to empower himself. With the help of Hades, the king quickly found Perseus and snapped at his arm as he fought back. Fortunately, the companions came and cut off one of the king's hands. Black blood dripped to the ground, and a giant scorpion emerged from the ground and swallowed Perseus in one gulp. As his companion despaired, Perseus emerged from inside him. But what's even more dangerous is that another group of scorpions has crawled out. At this time, a group of evil spirits appeared in the distance, and the scorpions saw the evil spirits' instructions and stopped their attack. At night, while Perseus was resting, evil spirits sneaked into the tent and tried to heal Perseus' hand. It turned out that they had been cursed into evil spirits by God, who was willing to help Perseus. With the help of evil spirits, they successfully reached the river Styx and find the all-knowing witch of hell. These witches have eyeballs on their heads. When the witch saw someone coming, she pounced on them without hesitation. In a moment of crisis, Perseus grabbed the witches by the eye and threatened to throw them down. The witch suddenly relented and told Perseus that in order to fight the sirens, she would need to use Medusa's powers, look her in the eye, and all living things turned to stone. So they set out again to the river Styx in search of Medusa. Zeus suddenly appeared and gave Perseus a gold coin to pay off the Styx ferryman. With his help, they successfully arrived at Medusa's lair. Medusa was imprisoned in the depths of the river Styx, surrounded by statues of stone, and no one who came here ever made it out alive. This is Medusa, the serpent, and if you look her in the eye, you will be instantly petrified. The soldiers were careful not to turn to stone. However, Medusa disappeared and petrified them one by one. Soon he found Perseus, and the evil spirit took advantage of his pursuit and slashed him. Several coyotes landed, but Medusa escaped unscathed. She ensnared the evil spirit with a serpent's tail. The evil spirit looked at him but did not panic at all, because the evil spirit was not flesh and blood and would not be petrified. The heart of the evil spirit expands rapidly, and after an explosion, Medusa is seriously injured. Perseus closed his eyes as his companion pinned her with a stone elbow. With one blow, Medusa's tongue fell to the ground. Perseus held Medusa's head and was just about to go back with the woman, the old king attacked from behind, impaled the woman's body, and Perseus no longer resisted his divine power. He picked up Excalibur and drove a dagger through the old king's heart. With only a few hours left before the deadline, Perseus had to turn back, and Hades had summoned the sirens. Out of fear, the people hanged the princess and prepared to send her to the sirens. Just as the siren is about to swallow the princess, Perseus descends from the sky and pulls out Medusa's head. The sirens and Medusa look at each other and instantly begin to petrify, eventually turning into statues and sinking into the sea. With the help of Zeus' thunder, Perseus successfully drove Hades back to the underworld. The crisis in the human world is finally over, and Zeus brings the fairies back to life. He sought out Perseus to make him one of the gods. However, Perseus refused, wanting only to live a human life. The film is generally pretty good, and Perseus hasn't lost sight of his original idea. He could have become a god and lived a carefree life, but he chose to continue being a human being, living and dying normally. Perseus is also courageous and resourceful, and has reacted correctly in many critical situations. I hope we can all live the life we want.